Bikes have developed constantly since the dawn of two-wheeled human-powered transport. Gears have been added, different materials used, aerodynamics became a factor, and weight has been constantly shaved off. But what are some of the game-changing bikes that were ahead of their time, creating a new trend for bicycle design? Let's take a look. Around 1970 can be seen as the start of titanium being used as a material in bikes, when frame builder Fritz Fleck started experimenting with the element. But it was American company TELEDYNE who produced the first serial production titanium bike, the TELEDYNE Titan. Due to flexibility in the frame, however, a few frames developed fatigue cracks, despite TELEDYNE trying to reinforce them from the inside. Questionable reputation aside, the Titan can be seen as one of the first production titanium frames. How about the first carbon bike to win Paris-Roubaix when Ballerini flew home in 1991? Not only was it the first carbon bike to win Roubaix, the C40 also won 4 more times in the next 5 years at the Monument Classic. Apart from all this, it looked like the absolute business. The C40 was also the bike of choice for Mappier in the Cobble Classic, when Museo romped home and took the team to a famous 1-2-3 victory. The design of the LOTUS Type 108 is famous. It was a revolutionary frame with an aerofoil cross-section that used a carbon composite monarch and took Chris Boardman to Olympic gold in 1992, setting a new world record of 4 minutes 24.496 seconds in the process. Banned by the UCI at first in 1987, it was reinstated when the UCI relaxed the rules on carbon monarch frames in 1990. A classic frame and bike which will forever be etched in the history of the bicycle. The Trek OCLV 5200 from 1999 was the first Shimano Tour de France win and also the first laminated carbon bike, which was at that time produced in the USA. It was one of the first durable, stiff and then light carbon frames. OCLV stands for Optimum Compaction Low Void. Optimum compaction is when carbon is layered into a series of plies compacted to the ideal fibre-resin ratio. Low void. Voids are the spaces that exist between the layers of carbon fibre that comprise a component or frame. Minimising these voids is a primary goal of quality carbon engineering, as more voids translates to reduced strength and durability. OCLV carbon exceeds aerospace standards regarding the number of voids in its material. Okay, so not a road bike, a mountain bike from our friends at GmbN. The Specialized Stunt Jumper began production in 1981 and was the first mass production mountain bike. It consisted of a welded steel frame and was marketed as an affordable and versatile bike for a new sport, mountain biking. It can therefore be thanked for the rapid rise of mountain biking and perhaps even seen as the divergence of when roadies went one way and mountain bikers the other. My favourite part of this bike is that it was first produced, retailers thought it was a big kid's BMX. Its first iteration had no suspension and weighed 14 kilograms. The 3T Strada was groundbreaking at the time, the first modern day road bike frame to be designed completely around one-by gearing with nowhere to mount a front derailleur. The bike was built to maximise aerodynamics and was optimised for wider 28mm wheels, with the lack of front derailleur claimed to save even more against the wind, clearing up what the company claimed was the worst area aerodynamically. The jury is still out somewhat on whether one-by gearing is here to stay at pro-level racing, but we have definitely seen its advantages on many gravel road and mountain bikes in recent years. Either way, the 3T Strada was the first bike to give it a go and take one-by gearing to the pro ranks. A beautiful bike in its own right, the COLNAGO Ferrari concept bike of 1987 was a partnership between two titans. It had a carbon fibre frame, lugged construction and internal gears which were operated by a small lever on the down tube. Concern for aerodynamics featured heavily and the bike included spectacular 3-spoked wheels. One of the main parts of the bike was its hydraulic operated rim brakes and could be said to be one of the first hydraulic operated brakes in history. The Look KG86 from 1986 was one of the first bikes to have a carbon frame. Completely handmade with carbon Kevlar tubes for increased rigidity, bonded together with alloy lugs. Greg LeMond won the Tour on it back in 1986. The first carbon bike to win the Tour de France and pave the way for decades of the carbon fibre era. Jumping back a bit to 1916, and this bike Ollie found in the Ron van Vlaanderen Museum. a World War I Bianchi made for the Italian army. Its key feature was the fact that it was a folding bike, which made it extremely functional for getting across obstacles. It had rugged, puncture-proof, solid tyres, 2 gears, and had plenty of space for carrying things. As you can see, it almost looks like a modern-day bike packing frame bag setup. There is so much on this bike that you could argue has paved the way to the practical features we see on modern-day functional bikes. So those were some of the key game-changing bikes, but what do you all think? What is the key change we've seen in bikes that has advanced technology more than anything else? Let us know in the comments. And let's get a poll going on the GCN app. Which represented the greatest change in bike design? The Look KG86 or the Trek OCLV? Thanks for watching, everyone.